Hey, what's up, everybody? Tito here. I'm just chilling outside. It's a nice day outside, nice and cold, and this is my shiz right here. Okay, when it's cold, I enjoy the day out. I don't like it warm, but you guys gotta understand where I live. It's like hot, maybe like 80% of the time of the year. So, the one chance I can have it cold like this, I'd rather be outside and shooting this video for you guys. So, anyways, we're gonna talk about the LG X Power 2. By the way, just quick note, the wind is blowing and my camera is hooked to this tree right here, so if it starts to move, yeah, that would be the reason why. But anyways, the LG X Power 2. So when you scour the Webernet for any information about the LG X Power 2, very little comes up other than the fact that it's mentioned there will be a second generation X series. Car was passing by right now, so but yeah, there will be a second generation X series, and it makes sense that they would make a second generation X series as they have multiple generations of the G series. The V series got its second generation with the V20, and the K series is coming out with second generation devices as well. So it makes sense that the X series would get second generations as well. And the X series being a really, really good series, not just the X Power, but the X style is okay if you have it working at a good point. You also have the the X Mach, the X Max. All these things are things that from the X series that are like really, really good when they first debuted them last year. But anyhow, so the X Power 2, let's just dive right into it, okay? Because this is what the rumored specs are that you can find from phonearena.com is my source where I found it. Basically, it makes mention of a 5.5-inch display. Resolutions is going to be on the 720p side, so that's 1280 by 720. Pixel density at 267 pixels per inch. We're talking a 4,500 milliamp hour battery. We're talking a 5 megapixel wide angle selfie cam and a 13 megapixel rear cam, and that's about all the specs you can find. No mention of the internal storage, no mention of RAM, no mention of chip. So if those are going to be the official specs, 5.5-inch display, 5 megapixel front-facing camera, 13 megapixel rear-facing camera, and we're talking 4,500 milliamp hour battery and all that good stuff. Chipset, what I would want to see in the LG X Power 2, chipset wise. So the MediaTek 6755 did an outstanding job with this device. A lot of people were very hesitant for the Boost Mobile, Virginmobile version of the X Power because it was a MediaTek processor. Everyone thought it was going to run like crap, and to surprise, it ran better than the Snapdragon 615 in my opinion. And I will do a speed comparison between the J7, which I'm using to film this video with, versus the X Power as far as speed, again, to kind of compare the processing power of both chips. But the 6755 did absolutely well. So if I could bump up the chip in the X Power 2, I would go with the MediaTek 6995. That's the one I would go with. So, there's just something about this, the 6995, basically just how it performs, and the cores and stuff that it has involved in it. So besides that, as far as internal storage, I would rather go with, like, if it was a 32 gig, I wouldn't mind having 2 gigs of RAM. But if it was a 16 gig, I would definitely want to see 3 gigs of RAM on this device, period. So with that being said, if they gave us 32 gigs of onboard storage and 3 gigs of RAM, that would be super sweet. That would be cool as heck. Build quality, I don't care for metal phones. I don't care for aluminum phones, really. I honestly don't. It doesn't bother me if the phone is made out of polycarbonate, or if it's made out of aluminum, or if it's made out of some grade A airplane steel. Kids. It don't matter to me. All I want to see with this device, if they could think outside of the box, is to kind of give us a device that has a screen-to-body ratio of 92-93%. Okay? You don't need big chins on the top and bottom to house the camera, the proximity sensor, whatever. I know it's not going to have a physical home button. Sorry about that, guys. I know it's not going to have a physical home button, and that's fine by me, because really don't need it. So the bottom chin could be smaller, the top chin could be a little bit smaller, and even though it's smaller and thinner, it can still house the camera, the front-facing camera. It can still house the proximity sensor. Maybe even take a page out of Samsung's book and throw in a front LED flash. That would be actually kind of nice. But the reason why I want the screen to body ratio smaller, not smaller, but bigger, with thinner bezels basically, is because I would love to see the device be a 5.5-inch display but be the same size as the original X Power, which has a 5.3. I mean, if you look at the original X Power, the top bezel right here, is, you know, it could be shrunk. It can be shrunk. Depending on the internals and where they lay everything on the motherboard and everything, they could make it smaller. So you can have a 5.5-inch display with this form factor exactly right here, and that's kind of like what I want to see. So anyways, that's just like my thoughts, my predictions of the LG X Power 2, and just some of the things that I did find rumor wise on the Webernet. If you guys find anything else, be sure to comment that in the comment section of this video. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, you guys already know the link stuff on the screen. You guys can, what you guys can do with that. So anyhow, I'm gonna jam right now, and you guys should too. Much love to all you guys out there. Thanks for watching. As always, aloha and mahalo for checking out my video. You guys have a blessed Sunday. See you tomorrow.